As a student, it is very important to set goals. We use data to help us set those goals. It is extremely important that we keep track of where we start our progress and what happens to that progress throughout the year. We have grade level goals that we need to meet that tell us we are where we are supposed to be in 4th grade. We will be learning how to make an Excel spreadsheet that will help us track all of our data and give us an idea of where we are in terms of achieving those goals. The first step in starting your student data book is to open the program. To open Microsoft Excel, click on the Start menu on the lower left-hand side of the screen. Find the program Microsoft Office and follow that to Microsoft Excel. Open Excel. Over the word Sheet 1, right-click on those words. A menu will appear and the word Rename is on that menu. Sheet 1 will be highlighted when you choose to rename it. Type the word Attendance into that box. The next slide is a video tutorial of how to complete this task. Right-click on the Sheet 1 tab. Select the Rename menu item. Each day when you arrive in class, you will enter your attendance into the Attendance tab. We will complete attendance by day and week. Weeks will be numbered down the left-hand side of the screen, and the day of the week will be listed across the top. In cell A2, click and type the words Week 1. Move your mouse to the lower right-hand corner of that cell until your cursor turns into a plus sign. Left-click and drag your mouse down the column until you reach week 45 and unclick. By starting with cell B1, type Monday, in C1 Tuesday, in D1 Wednesday, E1 Thursday, and F1 Friday. In cell A2, type the words Week 1. Move your cursor to the bottom right-hand corner of cell A1 until it turns into a solid plus sign. Left-click and drag to cell A43. Select cell B1 and type Monday. Type Tuesday, press Tab. Type Wednesday, press Tab. Type Thursday, click Tab. Type Friday into Tab F1. Every day you will enter numbers into the program that indicate if you were on time, late, or absent. A 3 will stand for on time, 2 for late or check out early, and 1 for absent. We are going to do something called conditional formatting, which means you will tell the program a rule to place an icon in the cell with your number depending on what you place in the cell. To conditionally format a group of cells, you must highlight the cells by clicking on the cell, holding on the Shift button, and dragging to the cell that you want to highlight. While highlighted, click on the Conditional Formatting button in the toolbar. Click on the New Rule tab. On the drop-down menu on New Rule, click Icon Sets. On the right-hand side, under the word Type, choose Number. On the second one, also choose Number. Under the term Value for green, type 3, and yellow, type 2. Test this on your spreadsheet by entering test numbers throughout the area the code should match. If they do not, make sure you had the entire area highlighted when you chose the values. On the bottom of the spreadsheet, click on Sheet 2. Right-click and rename the tab Behavior the same way you did on the Attendance tab. In cell A2, type Week 1 and use the Complete function to add 42 weeks the same way you did in the Attendance tab. Add Monday through Friday across the top. We will use the same 3-2-1 key we used in Attendance, except that 3 is a green card, 2 is a yellow card, and 1 is a red card. Conditionally format the cells for the Behavior tab as well. If you're having trouble remembering how to conditionally format the cells, go back to that part of the tutorial. Right-click on Sheet 2 and rename this tab Behavior. This page will be a little different than the others, as it is the first where we have a grade level goal. In cell A1, enter the date of your first SRI test. In cell A2, enter the score you received on that first test. In B1, enter the second date you took the SRI test, and in B2, enter the score you received. You will be tracking your progress over time. Therefore, you will need to use a line graph to track that progress. Highlight only the dates and the data, choose the Insert tab, click Line, and choose the first 2D graph. This should give you a graph of your data. If you have a blank square, you may have forgotten to highlight the data. On the y-axis of the graph, single-click on the numbers to highlight the numbers on the axis. Right-click on those numbers and choose Format Axis. On Axis Options, click Fixed under the minimum and maximum. The minimum value will be 0 and the maximum value will be 1700. Click OK. You should see where your line falls on that graph. Click the Insert tab and click Shapes. Choose to draw a line on the 700 line of the graph to show you where the grade level line is. Highlight that graph and right-click on it to format the line. Make it a 2.0 thickness and turn the line red. Right-click on Sheet 3 and rename the tab Lexile. Click to select cell A1. Place the first date of the first SRI test you took in this cell. In cell B1, place the date of the second test you took. In cell A2, place your score of the first test. In cell B2, place the score of your second test. Highlight all 4 boxes, including the dates and the data, by clicking on the first box, holding Shift and using the arrows to highlight the remaining boxes. Select the Insert tab. Select Insert a line chart. These are used to display data tracked over time. Select the first line chart on the upper left-hand corner. Delete the Series 1 key on the right-hand side of the graph, as we won't be needing it. Place your mouse over the 0 on the left-hand side of the graph and right-click. This will highlight the y-axis on the graph. The drop-down menu brings up an option of Format Axis. Choose Format Axis. Under the axis options, choose Fixed for minimum and maximum numbers. The minimum on this graph will be 0. The maximum will be 1700. Click the Close button. Select the Insert tab. Select Shapes. Select the line item. Draw the grade level line across the graph by left-clicking on the 700 mark and dragging your cursor across the screen to the right side of the graph. Select from the line thickness styles at the top of the page. Choose red in the thickest line possible. Right-click on the data trend line and add data labels to the graph. The next sheet we will be working on is Sheet 4. Right-click on Sheet 4 on the bottom of your page and rename the tab Dibbles. In cell A1, enter the date of your first Dibbles test. In A2, enter the score you received. In B1, enter the second date you took the Dibbles test, and in B2, the score you received on that date. You will be tracking your progress over time, therefore you will need to use a line graph to track that progress. Highlight only the dates and the data and choose the Insert tab. Click Line and choose the first 2D line graph. This should give you a graph of your data. If you have a blank square, you may have forgotten to highlight the data. On the y-axis of the graph, single-click on the numbers and highlight the numbers by right-clicking. On the Format Axis table, choose Fixed. Under minimum and maximum, the minimum value will be 0 on this graph and the maximum will be 200. Click OK. You should see where the line falls on that graph. Click the Insert tab and click Shapes. Choose to draw a line on the 120 mark of the graph to show where the grade level line is. Highlight and right-click that line Make it a 2.0 thickness and turn it red. This tutorial follows the same process as your Lexile graph. The second fixed number on this graph is 200. The grade level line on this graph is at 120. The addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division pages will be on the next 4 pages of your data book. They will follow the same process as charting the Dibbles and Lexile numbers. On sheet 5 on the bottom of the page, right-click and rename the tab Addition. On sheet 6, rename it Subtraction. On sheet 7, rename the tab Multiplication. And on sheet 8, rename the tab Division. Go back to the Addition tab. In cell A1, enter the date of your first addition timed test. In cell A2, enter the score you received. In B1, enter the second date you took the second addition timing test, and in B2, the score you received on that test. You will be tracking your progress over time, therefore you will need a line graph to track that progress. Highlight only the dates and the data and choose the Insert tab. Click Line and choose the first 2D line graph. This should give you a graph of your data. If you have a blank square, you may have forgotten to highlight the data. On the y-axis of the graph, single-click on the numbers to highlight the numbers on the y-axis. Right-click on those numbers and choose Format Axis. On Axis Options, click Fixed under the minimum and maximum options. The minimum value for all 4 of these graphs will be 0, and the maximum will be 200. Click OK. You should see where your line falls on that graph. Click the Insert tab and click Shapes. Choose to draw a line on the 35 mark of the graph to show where the grade level line is. Highlight and right-click to format that line, make it a 2.0 thickness, and turn it red. Repeat the process for subtraction, multiplication, and division tabs. The maximum value for all four of these graphs is 200. The grade level line for all of these graphs is 35. To save this document, click on the File tab in the upper left-hand side of the screen. Choose Save As. Name the document Data Book with your name. On the left-hand side, locate the Dropbox icon, double-click the Dropbox icon, and choose the folder with your name on it. Click Save. Click the File tab in the upper left-hand corner. Choose Save As. Name your file Student Data Book with your name, find the appropriate Dropbox file, and choose Save. Every day when you arrive at school, you will update your behavior and attendance tabs in your data book. When we take tests that have tabs in your data book, you will use your own scores as an update and regraph your new information. You may open a Microsoft Word document and set goals for yourself using your data book. For each of the tabs in your data book, set a goal for yourself and save it to your Dropbox file so that we both have access to it.